What's up, y'all? It's Paris. My deepest apologies for the way I look. You know, right now I'm a little tired. I didn't really get that much sleep last night because my cats was just balling it out. And I mean, yeah, I'm proud to say I'm a brother with some cats, man, but they some tough cats. But what I'm gonna do is, like, in all honesty, I originally planned doing these monthly videos all the way back in January, but it just seemed like I could never get the time right. So seeing that today is March the 1st, aka, you know, March forward, all that good jazz that comes along with the month of March. It's a new opportunity to start like a lot of new things. So I hope that this encourages anybody else to do the same. And these videos are just like things that's on my mind, or things in general that I learned from this month or last month, or any topics or discussions that people out there would probably like to have and share, just to give any further input from me on my behalf or anything in that particular. So I try to go into things like entertainment, lessons, or advice, even hygiene, you know, like when it comes to like products and stuff like that, that I think that works best, all that kind of jazz, like whatever comes to my mind, like I'm just willing to test this thing out. So, you know, congrats to everybody that's with me for the first time. This is the first video, so let's see like how much further it takes me. So with all due respect, let's get started. So for this month in particular, when I reflect back and I look at things from the previous months and whatnot, like one thing that kept on coming to my mind was the idea that I personally may tend to over-explain myself. And when I over-explain myself, sometimes I get caught up in being so honest with people. And I don't know what it's from. Like, I don't know if it's from my past being a kid, you get in trouble and you don't really want to suffer the consequence, or you don't want to be wrong, or you don't want to let people down. So you over-explain yourself to a T because you feel as if you owe that much to people. And there's no disrespect when I say it, but you do not owe people a lot of explanation for things. If you can't do something, hey, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Unless it's like the end of the world, it's a funeral, or whatever the case may be, then you can give whatever explanation that you want. But for the most part, just it's okay to sometimes say no. It's okay to not feel bad sometimes about saying no. Like, again, like I feel like I tend to do it because I want to not even have like a perfect self-image, because if anybody knows me personally, they know I'm not perfect. The only thing that I do, I just become open with sharing my imperfections with other people. So I am imperfectly perfect, if that makes any sense. So it's gonna be times like when y'all just gonna have to be honest. Like, sometimes I think that this ego thing gets to us, like where we all want to be right, and that's something that I've struggled with too, like in my past too, whether it be like relationships, whether it's friendships, or even like with your family. Like sometimes you just want to be right. Like, I want to be right. Like, it is how I see it, like right now. Ain't nothing else that you can tell me that can change my mind about it, because only I know what's better for whatever. But sometimes you have to be open enough to let people take a fall or do whatever the case may be, just so that people can learn. And then people learning, you may be right or you may be wrong, but you know, it's just that level of patience that you gotta have, whether it's like going to work, trying to explain yourself to your boss or whatever, or whoever we work for, or you know, you might be an entrepreneur, you might have your own business, you might not want to let people down, you know, who knows. You know, there's things that we can share with people that we may feel guilty about, or even things that we want to clarify, and some things that may not need that much clarification. And that brings me to like my next one. I know I talked about like your ego and stuff like that. At times too, it's like the second thing I learned. It's number 2. Maybe I could add some little effects right here. Number 2. There's nothing wrong with admitting that you're wrong. There is nothing wrong with admitting that you're wrong. A lot of people that I come to meet, even myself at times too, like I mentioned, we have this thing where we have to be right, or, you know, we have an argument. My pride, like, you know, us men, like, I got to make sure I get my point across. It's okay to be like, hey, bro, you know what you said you know, to me, I can't relate to that, but, you know, I feel where you coming from. I respect it. boom, like let's move on. People get caught up in holding so many grudges based on the way that they feel about things that they overlook a different opinion that can help them see something like in a different way. You know what I mean? And this don't even gotta be men, it could be women and things like that in particular, anybody. Like, it really doesn't matter, but we all do it, you know what I mean? Nobody, you know, wants to be wrong sometimes. We hate to be embarrassed, but through many times, like, you learn through your embarrassment, you know what I'm saying? That's how you learn. If you gotta be embarrassed, if you gotta take that leap of faith, if you gotta be the bad guy for once, or whatever the case may be, it is okay to be wrong and admit and own up to it. What anybody else chooses to do with it, that's on them, but you can only offer people like your honesty, you know what I mean? And I know I talked about like men and stuff like that. That brings me like to my third point. And another thing that I also want to talk about was like masculinity. And these are things that I talk about like all the time. Like, you know, a lot of people have, like, a lot of us men at times, like, we have signs of like toxic masculinity. Or we got the pause moments when everything gotta be a pause. Like, you can't, you know, like the people that you be around, like, you can't say nothing around these people without having to say pause or whatever. Like, it is okay at times to tell your boy, hey man, I love you, bro. Like, it ain't nothing wrong with that. It's okay as a man to tell your son that you love your son. Like, it's okay to kiss your son as a man. You know what I mean? Like, people put so much emphasis like on stuff that's not really that much worth it. It's okay to be affectionate. Some of us are like, you know, we grew up in lifestyles like where we couldn't be, you know, compassionate. If we did, it was like a sign of weakness or anything like that. But it's okay to show that emotional side to yourself. However, you don't let anybody get that deep into your emotional side to the point where they can control you or make you into their puppet. And I can understand why people may not want to do that, because a lot of people can take advantage of you when you are open, you know, enough to be honest about like how you feel about things. And I think that's probably a reason why too that a lot of people aren't willing to be as open. So I think any other topics that cross my mind, fourth topic wise, like one thing I want to bring up is like anxiety or even like depression and things like that, you know. Anxiety can be you like thinking about like a situation or a circumstance that has an effect on you, and every time when you think about it, you may get like the heart palpitations, like you may start feeling like so much worry, like you're worrying about things that you have no control of. You know, some of these things, like, they bring me to like my 4 point, like, it is okay if you don't have the answers to everything right now. And for all my 90s babies out there, like my 93 babies or my 92 babies and up, you know, we about to hit 30. And a lot of us, when we hear the word 30, we like, man, 30 mean that you closer to 40, 40 mean you closer to 50. Once you get to 50, that's a halfway point of your life, and this and that and the other. Like, bro, like, it's okay. It's gonna be all right. Like, just handle yourself the way that you can do it now. Take things one step at a time. Don't rush yourself for so many things in life. You know, if you know you ain't got the money to buy that car, don't buy that car. You know what I mean? Like, if you know that you are still in the early phases of a relationship, like, do not settle just to, you know, be, oh, I gotta have kids. Like, people keep on asking about kids. Like, you know, I gotta do this. Like, take your time, man. Like, everything's gonna come to you in like due time. I had a conversation like with one of my best friends, and they were going through a phase in their life, you know, where they felt as if they were feeling doubtful like about their journey that they were enduring right now. And it started to come off like as if they were like doubting themselves. But however, they cleared up. They said, you know what, I have to understand that, you know, my journey personally is different than anybody else's, and in due time, you know, everything is gonna work out for me that needs to be for me. And I know it sounds so cliche, but you know, through every struggle, like, your story is the way it's written for a reason. Nobody else can write your story better than yourself. You are literally the author of the story that you are writing within your life. Anybody else around you is only an audience, or they're going to support you towards the story that you need to write. Some people may come across to give us different, you know, experiences which lead to chapters and things like that in our lives that we can use to reflect about things or whatever. But your story is your story for a reason. Don't allow anybody who doesn't have the utensils or tools to write your story for you. You read a book, anybody can interpret anything differently. Just as your story, like when you live the life that you live, anybody can interpret the life that you live for any different reasons. You may have done some stuff in your past that you feel so ashamed of. You like, man, I'm just the dirtiest, like ruthless person ever. I might as well just sit back and be comfortable with how I've been rocking, because you know ain't nobody gonna understand me but me, and I'ma just keep on doing this. Nah, like you went through some stuff, you got through it, you still here right now. So like, what you gonna do next? And it's more easier said than done for people that's been through so much abuse in their households, abuse in their relationships, abuse as a child, like so many things. But you'll never be able to really progress until you're somewhat able to heal. You may not heal within a day, you may not heal within a month, you may not heal within 3 years, you may not heal within 5 years, but the goal is to become better every year. I think Muhammad Ali said something to the effect of like, if you're 50, and something like that, somebody's going to be able to get the right quote, and I'll probably put it down at the bottom or something like that. I'll probably add it like right here. See for yourself. If you're 50 and you look back at your life when you were 30 and you realize that you're still the same person, then that means that you wasted 20 years of your life or something to that caliber. So every year, every day is a new opportunity to become somebody different, to become better. You may not get rid of all your bad habits within one day. It may take you some time. It may take you some lessons that you may have to learn for yourself, you know, but you will get through it, and you will be able to share one experience to another just based on what you went through. Sometimes you may have to go through what you went through to share with other people that may need to help get to where they need to get to. And a lot of people may say, you know what does that have to do with me? Why should I be concerned about what they have to go through? Because at the end of the day, life is universal. Once you're dead and you're gone, whatever that's left here, and the only thing that people can hold on to when you're dead and gone is any tangible objects or any kind of legacy or mindset that you left behind for other people to follow or abide by. So what things do you want other people to remember you for? What ways would you like to have a positive effect on the next generation that's coming along, because they might not have somebody to relate to for the things that they've been through? And all that's going to require for you to set the tone for many generations to come further down the road. So I guess if I can say anything, like long story short, the things that you've been through can help people get to the point of where they need to. The things that you've been through can help other people get to the point of where they need to. And that's a huge quote. You know, I'm always doing the quotes, whatever, but this is how I get these kind of quotes and things like that, just by having like basic conversations about things like that in particular. So I think with all that being said, that might be all that I really have to make. Again, for this month of March, and these are just things that just come down to me. Next month, I try to be a little bit more prepared. I might just have like a list of things I might just have on the right side and just try to go through each thing like bit by bit. But it's my job, profession, person. Like many of you guys know, I do like law enforcement and things like that. There's so many things that I see on a daily basis that I know that a lot of people out here are going through. So any situations or scenarios, and even my personal life reflecting, just like I said, like with masculinity, wanted to, you know, find that round to where, you know, you still want to be a man, but you can also be honest about like how you are as a man as well, and stand on, you know, your compassion, your compassionate ways, or whatever the case may be. Everybody's different at the end of the day. I don't want to change the way that nobody, if you strong and you know you hard or whatever, like be that. But at the end of the day, just be yourself. And my thing is, what everybody always say, like, just be your best self. You can be yourself, but be your best self. So with that being said, I hope that this month of March is good for everybody. I hope that everybody can grow in the ways in which they need to, leading to April. And I'm gonna try to have some other stuff for y'all next time for sure. And if y'all got any topics that y'all want to talk about, just put them down in the comments below. And yeah, if y'all rocking with it, then let's just keep it going, you know. And if y'all want to do something like yourselves, I'll be definitely open to listen to y'all's too. So I'll see y'all later. I love y'all. Y'all be safe and y'all take care. Peace.